Good evenings. Freddie Vasquez here, Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, response from Team M.C.R. What is Team M.C.R? Well, tune in to find out. Join me. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, a response from the Inspector General. In fact, it's a response from the entire team. Team M.C.R. McLaughlin, Constantine, and Rubo. Good evening, folks. Good evening. Freddie Vasquez here with Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I wanted to go over the response in regards to the email that was sent by a resident back in December in regards to John Rubo, council member, and AMS, quid quo pro allegations in a letter. And I was talking to people really quick, excuse me, before I get into it, the response, and I did play the video or the audio yesterday. Basically, they said that there wasn't anything there for them to investigate. The Board of Ethics, looked into it prior to that or whatever, and they didn't find anything. So they basically just want to sweep it under the rug. And I was wondering, maybe if the email or the letter was a bit more specific, and again, and I commend the individual for even, writing the email. He stepped up. He did that. He wrote an email, and he expected something to happen. It wasn't until we pushed, we finally got a response. There was an email response from the corporate counsel, Mark Constantine. Actually, I believe he represents the Republican council members, and also Leah McLaughlin finally called me back, and he, said basically that there was nothing to look into. Now, I just want to give a backstory in case people are just joining me for the first time. The Yonkers, this all stems from a article. This whole thing stems, going back to former city council president Mike Cater, right, and why this is important. Why, I am constantly talking about this and why residents are upset that nothing is being done. Because the former city council president still has an ongoing investigation into the quid quo pro allegations that were levied against him, which stemmed from an article that was written in the Yonkers Tribune. From that article, a letter was sent to the council. And immediately the council at the time went over to the Inspector General Liam McLaughlin, and immediately he initiated an investigation. And of course, he's a Republican. He was the guy that the former city council president beat, right? But now there's a letter, similar situation. A letter was sent to the Inspector General and the city council, and nothing happened. This was back in December, and no response. But then finally we get a letter response from the city council, or city corporate council, I should say, Mark Constantine, and also a callback from none other than the Inspector General himself, Liam McLaughlin. And the reason why this is an issue is because we want to see that first. We want transparency, right? This is what the whole show is intended to do, is bring transparency. And also we want to make sure that there is fairness, right? They're being fair. There's, ethical, they're doing things in an ethical manner, I should say. And if there's allegations against one council member, and there's another against, allegations against another council member, then they both should be equally investigated, right? But it seems here that for some reason, and according to some, John Rubo is the golden boy. He's being protected, he's just, they're looking after him. They're sweeping it under the rug. They don't want to really talk about it much, but they need to. Because in not doing anything about it, it highlights the changes that need to be made. It highlights exactly what people are referring to, when they're talking in private about the city of Yonkers and how it operates. Right? There's a good old boys club, and Inspector General and John Rubel are allegedly a part of that good old boys club. Right. And so they say that the Inspector General is covering for John Rubel because they should investigate him. His landlord or the developers, AMS, who are doing a lot of developments here in the city. He chairs the real estate committee, which he has been doing so since 2017, I believe. Very long time now. And I'm also going to go over, I have here, I have what's it called? I want to give you the exact. It's called the Inspector General's Plain Language Guide to Municipal Ethics Requirements. And this is for the Department of Inspector General, City of Yonkers. So I just want to go over some of that stuff, and let's see, is anything going against what they consider unethical there, or a violation, or illegal to do, or not allowed to do. I'll read that in a bit. But yeah, so that nothing was happened. The Inspector General basically said there's nothing there, and in the email response, which I'm going to put up here and I want to read, see if I have it here. This is from the corporate counsel, Mark Constantine, who coincidentally is representing council member Rubel in a federal lawsuit for unpaid wages. Yeah, that's right. Apparently, well, according to those suing him, he's not paying his employees. So here, let me read the first one. Okay. Please be advised, I am responding to you. I'm going to read this to you. I'm sorry. Oops, did I just get out of it? Sorry, I just got out of it. My apologies. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to get it back up. Okay, I'll have it here. All right. And I'll share that again. Excuse me. Please be advised that I am responding to you in my capacity as statutory counsel to the city of Yonkers, to Yonkers City Council, I'm sorry, and its individual members, including Councilman Rubel. With respect to the allegations that you raised regarding Councilman Rubel's relationship with his landlord, AMS, please be advised that one, on December 2nd, 2020, and this is important, and I'll tell you, just remember this. On December 2nd, 2020, the councilman submitted correspondence to the Board of Ethics requesting an advisory opinion on whether he can serve as the chair of the real estate committee and or vote on matters appearing before the city council relating to AMS. Two, on January 13th, 2021, the councilman appeared before the Board of Ethics to answer questions concerning inter alia, his relationship with AMS. Three, on February 24th, 2021, I issued an advisory opinion to the Board of Ethics concerning the foregoing. And fourth, the Board of Ethics, after fully considering and deliberating the matter, including my opinions, subsequently adopted a resolution number 1/2021, approved 5-0, finding that there is no ethical prohibition on Councilman Rubel taking action on behalf of the city, provided that he continues to fully disclose his relationship with AMS to the satisfaction of the Ethics Board prior to taking any action on matters related to AMS. And I'm going to read the other part there. 1 second. Because it goes on to continue. Oh, I didn't have to stop sharing. With respect to your remaining allegations concerning Inter Alia, the councilman's relationship with the law firm Harris Beach, please be advised that any campaign finance concerns should be directed to the New York State Board of Elections. That being said, please be advised that there is no prohibition on city council members doing business with longtime vendors of the city of Yonkers, including Harris Beach. And furthermore, it is entirely legal in the state and indeed very common for candidates for public office to challenge the nomination or designation of their opponents pursuant to Article 16102 of the New York State election law. Sincerely yours, Matthew I. Gallagher, Esquire, Corporation Counsel. So that was a response to the email that the individual got. I saw that after the phone call with Leah McLaughlin. So basically, they're saying there's nothing wrong. However, Mark Constantine, who is the lawyer for the attorney for the Republicans, I believe, on the city council, is currently representing John Rubio, Councilman Rubio, in a lawsuit involving, matters of not paying his employees. Right. So, is there any conflicts of interest? And some wonder, is he paying Mark Constantine for those services? And if so, shouldn't the Inspector General inquire into that? Shouldn't the Inspector General had subpoenaed, like he did with Mike Cater, copies of his lease at the Yonkers Brewing? If you're going to sit on the chair, then we need to see these documents first, just to assure that there isn't any issues, because this will happen, right? So I want to read some of this stuff from the ethics to you, and you can find this, and I'll actually share the link. I'll do that now in the comments section for those who may be interested in reading this stuff. Oni and Yanka shaking my head. Well, there you go. You can follow along with me if you click on the link there that I just shared in the comments section. That is to the Inspector General's guide, right? Inspector General's plain language guide to municipal ethics requirements. I'm just going to skip down it. You guys can look it up. Like I said, I shared the link there if you want to go on it and review it all. Misuse of office. City officials or employees may not use their office or positions to financially benefit themselves, right? That should go without saying. Their family members or anyone with whom they have a business or financial relationship with, right? And I hear Liam McLaughlin and Mark Constantine at one point were associates at a law firm. I don't know if they're partners or associates from sources. Also, Liam McLaughlin was represented by Mark Constantine as well. Family members, city officials or employees may not supervise or appoint to a city job a relative or household member. And I don't know, that's something that a lot of people speak about, right? The friends and family network, right? Misuse of city resources, which is another thing people speak about. City officials or employees may not use city personnel, equipment, supplies, or other resource for non-city purposes, right? Incidental or minimal personal use is sometimes permissible. Yeah, so if you got to cross the bridge accidentally, or incidentally, I had to cross the bridge, in a city vehicle. Improper conduct. City officials and employees may not take any actions that violate the ethics code, conflict with their city duties, or create the appearance of impropriety. Yeah. Inducement of others. City officials and employees may not try to cause, or help another official or employee to violate the code of ethics. And I think I've spoken about that very recently in a podcast. So you can go check that out. Business with subordinates. Elected officials cannot enter into any business with or have financial dealings with city employees. Other city officials cannot enter into any business with or have financial dealings with subordinates. Right. Okay, I'm going to skip down a little bit. Again, you could go on there and read stuff, representing non-city interests. A city official or employee cannot represent another person in any matter against the interests of the city. A city official or employee cannot have an interest in or benefit from a contract with the city if the city official or employee in any way can exercise control over the contract. City officials and employees must disclose any interest in a city contract to the ethics board and city clerk. Seeking other jobs. For a 1-year period after leaving city employment, a city official and employee cannot seek or obtain a non-city job with anyone that received a financial benefit from the city, which was in any way related to the city work of the former official or employee. This provision can be waived by the ethics board, and God forbid, who is in the ethics board? And we'll find out a little bit about that in a minute. Post-employment 1-year ban. I think that's what I just read, actually. No, did I? No. For 1 year after they leave city service, city officials and employees may not appear before the city on behalf of anyone else. They can, however, appear before the city's behalf, their own behalf, or on behalf of another government agency. Post-employment permanent ban. After leaving city service, former city officials and employees may never work for a private employer on a particular matter they personally or substantially worked on for the city. Post-employment waivers. City officials and employees can ask the ethics board to waive the post-employment restrictions of ethics board, which that's stupid. Then why create them? I mean, hey, you just waive that for me? Yeah, why not? You're my boy. You in the good old boys club, right? Yeah, I'll wait for you. Here you go. Here you go. No big deal. All right. Extend terms. Yeah. You know, contracts. There you go. Disclosures and recusal. As soon as check that. As soon as a city official or employee faces a possible or actual conflict of interest, he or she must disclose the conflict in writing to his or her supervisor and possibly the ethics board or other official governmental body. A city official or employee must avoid the appearance of any conflict of interest. Disclosure and or recusal are often the only way to avoid an appearance of a conflict. Case law. I mean, that's not happening. You got to recuse yourself, John. It doesn't appear, it's appearing that you have a lot of conflicts of interest there. So therefore, you must recuse yourself. Inspector, I'm going to be calling you again. I'm going to read you this one. Okay? I'm going to read this to you, and I'm going to ask you about this, and I'm going to be a little more detailed with my questions. Call me off guard. You know, end of the day, I was a little tired, ready to go home, man. You know, I've been dealing with a lot. Anyway, number 4, I should say number 3, an official or an employee must recuse himself or herself from acting on a matter which may financially benefit him or her, a close family member, or anyone whom he or she has a business or financial relationship. Number 4, a city official or employee who participates in the adoption process of proposed legislation must disclose any personal interest that he or she has in the proposed legislation to the city clerk and ethics board. Number 5, if a person requests that a city official or employee recuse themselves because of a conflict of interest, if a person requests that a city official or employee recuse himself because of a conflict of interest from acting on a particular matter, the person making the request must disclose in writing the name or names of the people who are prohibited by the ethics code from receiving a financial benefit. 6, applicants for land use permits must disclose any interest that a city official or employee has in that permit. Okay? Just saying. Political activity. No candidate for elected office of the city official, employee shall request or have someone else request that another city official, employee, a city vendor, or contractor participate in any political campaign activity. Number 2, for a 12-month period after a political contribution totaling $5,000 to a city candidate has been made, the contributor and the city official who received the contribution must disclose the existence of the contribution in writing to the ethics board. Whenever the contributor requests a municipal action or non-action that would provide a financial benefit to the contributor, recusal is not required. Number 3, city officials and employees cannot engage in political campaign activity during working hours, which I've heard this happens a lot. All right, why don't you guys start snapping pictures? You know, those new iPhones now, you know, they come with this new and improved camera. All right, make sure you zoom in and snap a picture. Number 4, city employees shall not wear City of Yonkers uniforms or insignia when engaged in political campaign activity. Number 5, despite the restriction on political activity in the ethics code, nothing prevents a city official or employee from voluntarily engaging in political activity. And whistleblower protection. No city official or employee shall retaliate against anyone for submitting a complaint to the ethics board or for complying with the provisions of the ethics code and other ethics law, applicable ethics law. All right. Annual financial disclosure. You can read the rest of it. I shared it there in the link, so you can go ahead and read that. I'm gonna go to some of the comments, I should say. That's a no report on the Amazon Commission when no Spano took over, revamped the code new guidelines. You have those because that's up on the website. So I was talking with somebody. I guess we were communicating, whatever. And one of the things that was brought up was that the website just has a bunch of old stuff. It's not, updated. You have actually somebody there that had died, and he's still listed there, as a member of some committee or whatever. So we have to work with what we work with. But if it was revamped, then where's that, and if you see there, it says that you can, ask the board for a waiver on certain things. So again, if the board of ethics isn't on the up and up, if they aren't very ethical, right? Does it really matter anyway? Because from some of the information that I've found in my research, it doesn't seem like the board of ethics, is involved or has people involved with it that are very ethical. And again, this information could be old because the website is never updated. But according to the most recent data on the Yonkers website, the secretary of the board of ethics is a gentleman, again, I've mentioned this, by the name of Dennis Gallego or something like that. And I could be saying it wrong. And his wife, Roseanne, who worked up in Albany in the Senate office as a receptionist, was the one that filed for that organization, the Committee for a Better Yonkers. That committee, which had nothing to do with bettering Yonkers, was very unethical. And she filed for it. She filed to incorporate that organization. What does she have to, why? Right? And then a bunch of people that have donated to it have been these developers. People like AMS and things like that, and also some of these law firms that you hear, right? So how ethical is the board of ethics? And can we trust whatever decision that they make? And this is the problem that I'm trying to make, because people say you got to pick your battles. Everything is a battle because we have to expose every part of it, right? Because it all works. It all works in a system, right? It's a system, right? So it's different moving parts. So you have board of ethics, you have the inspector general. Well, the board of ethics say it's nothing wrong, so I'm not going to investigate. Well, the board of ethics is corrupt. Look at this guy's wife is starting organizations and then requesting money or whatever from these developers, and then they're attacking the former city council president because they were a big part of those who attacked the city council president with the negative ads. So they used that developer money that they got, right? This organization that was filed by the wife of the secretary of the Yonkers Board of Ethics, if that's still the case. Well, he was or he still is. I don't know. They have to update the website. I don't know who works that part. Maybe, again, not enough money. Another meeting. We got to revise the budget. We got to ask for someone to update the website, right? So his wife, he's on the Board of Ethics as a secretary. His wife then starts his organization, and then they attack the city council president with the most disgusting ads. Is that very ethical? They completely corrupted a whole campaign and a whole election. And no one is looking into that. Is that the new one? Ask the IG should have a new updated one. Yeah. So, yeah. So, I'm just saying. So, is this Board of Ethics very ethical when this guy, the Board of Ethics secretary's wife, is starting this committee for a better Yonkers? And what have they done? Does anybody know much about the Committee for a Better Yonkers? Anyone know about them at all? They pay for a lot of, they pushed a lot of the candidates that are currently in office. Right? So, Yeah, going back to Rubo, who's currently being represented by Mark Constantine, who was also Liam McLaughlin's lawyer. Right? He used to be the city council president's lawyer back when Liam was the city council president. When Liam lost to Mike Cater, he moved over to become the attorney, the counsel for the Republican members of the council. And now he's representing Rubo, another Republican. Right? So you got to see these connections. So that's what I'm saying, these connections. So that's what it is. So why isn't why isn't Liam investigating? Well, because he's connected. He's not going to investigate. He's not going to do his job. Not until maybe Lucy Lang comes down here, the state inspector general, maybe a real inspector general come down here and do her job and show you what inspector general is really about. I mean, Mark and Liam, Mark Constantine, they're personal friends. These guys go back, I heard from sources, to, their days in law school. Buddies. They even, again, they're business partners at one point. And in that report, it talks about family and friends. Look how many family and friends. I was watching the city council meeting the other day, and Tommy Meyer was on there, and his assistant or whatever she was, Sarah Sage, who's she related to? And then Rubo hired Michelle Sage. So you got a whole family friends network. So it's not just, I know people like to talk about the Spano. Yeah, we know that, but it's other people also. Got to mention them also. Right? And then you got Zahi Jarris's wife. I'm sorry, is his wife over at DPW with a nice cushy job. She goes from one job in City Hall over to DPW. And this guy is a hitman, from what I hear. He's a political hitman. Mr. Zahi Jarris is a political hitman. That's what he gets paid to do. That's what people say. He's a political operative. He's a hitman. Takes you out. Right? And he's looking to take you out, Shelley Mayer, from what I hear. Senator, be careful. Sources are telling me that Zahi Jarris is looking to run someone against the senator. Looking to take her out. Just what I'm hearing. You don't have to believe me. Don't have to believe me. No, I will not run Zahi against Shelley. How dare you ever try to ask me to do that? All jokes aside, that's what I hear. He's gunning for Shelley. So be careful there. You know how he operates. He's a political hitman. Yeah. Well, yeah. So all roads lead to Zahi Jarris. All roads lead to this political hitman who is responsible for Mr. Rubo. Mr. Rubo is being protected by the inspector general. It doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter what you say. No one's going to look into it here in your city of Yonkers. This is the good old boys club. Good old boys club. So, I don't know. Any more comments? Anybody else? That's what I got. I just wanted to go over that, but apparently that's not new. I'll have to get the new one and look it up. But I wanted to go over that response also. Nothing. They're not going to do anything. That's it. No investigation, no nothing. So maybe you have to send a letter to the state inspector general, is what I'm hearing. So Mr. The gentleman who wrote the letter to me, sent me the letter, maybe that's where you have to send it to. Because as you can see here, everybody's connected. Everybody's protecting each other. You have friends and family in every position. Leah McLaughlin loses as a city council president. No sweat. Inspector General. Mark Constantine, you move over to represent the Republicans. Right? Zahi wife, thank you for being an inside operative, a mole. For that, we reward you with a DPW job. So how's anyone there? And I feel sorry for anyone who has a family member who wants to run for office and they work for DPW. That place is full of moles. Moles. You got Tommy Meyer heading it up. Is assisted by Sarah Sage. Connect her to Michelle Sage over at Rubo's office. Connect Sage Nader to Lorraine Lopez, who I hear is another political or hitman. She even gloated about it. She said, I'm a hired gun. She tried it once on me. She realized I was not the one. She plays nice with me now. Yeah, but you got a lot of political hitmen. And then you have Yonkers Tribune. It's another weapon. So he writes this article about Mr. Cater. And then someone gets tricked into writing a letter. And I believe that. I do. I see the remorse. I feel the remorse in the gentleman. You know how you can make it better? You can just tell exactly what happened. Just a thought. Food for thought. Right? That way we have a clear understanding at least. But I think there's a remorse there because look what happened. Destroyed a career, political career. You know? I mean, I'll start with it. I'll start a little bit. Mike Breen requested that letter to be sent, right? Why did Mike Breen request you to write that letter? I'm just saying. I'm just tired of it. Just be honest. What interest did Mike Breen have in that? It seems like it was all set up then. It was staged. It was a staged event. It's like a false flag. You know? And now you could and the fact that they don't investigate John Rubo just solidifies that, right? They just, I mean, yeah, that's no doubt. No, without a doubt, that's what it was. Without a doubt. Because if it was about integrity and being ethical and doing the right thing, Mr. McLaughlin would have investigated this also, sent this over to the DA, like he did with Cater's case. And why is he still involved if he sent it over to the DA? And what is Mimi Rocha doing? And why is she toying with it? What does Mimi Rocha have to do with AMS? No, I'm trying. It just didn't work. It just didn't work. Yes, what does Mimi Rocha have to do with AMS? I don't know. Probably nothing. But I know she had a campaign office in there. Didn't have much in there though. It was just like a 3D printing machine, and she was printing up some of these things that she was handing out to Mimi Rocha. Somebody showed this is Mimi Rocha's campaign. There was nobody really else in that. Or their building there on the corner above the city. Is the Citibank, right? So what is she gonna do? So you see this there. You see how it is. You see, they're not investigating, so it was a setup. It was all a setup. Because they're not going to investigate Rubo. So maybe you have to write that letter to the New York State IG if you want anything done. I put it out there. I made the phone calls. And that was the response. Because he's protected. John Rubel's protected, and he knows it, and that's why he smiles like that. That's why he has that little grin, the little smile. Yeah, see Rubel smiling. He knows he's protected, and it's obvious that they're gonna get away with it because it's really a lot of it is pretty obvious. And the Republican Party, what you guys doing? I mean, you young Republican guys, you gonna do something? You're gonna do something? You guys are gonna, I mean, these guys go unchallenged, really. You don't have any real Republican challenging them, and anyone that wants to challenge them on the Democrat side, a lot of times doesn't stand a chance, or oftentimes you see what happens. They wait. They realize they have to wait in line, and I'm sorry. Oh, wait right here. Yeah, ain't knocking. You guys are cool. You're tough. You guys you got it on lock. But yeah, so that's not gonna, that's what it is. There, that's the, just think about it. It's all staged. That whole thing it was really to get Mike Cater out of there. Bottom line, Mike Cater was the only person that was willing to challenge the status quo. That's bottom line, and they took him out. They used Zahi Jeris. I wouldn't be surprised if he was doing that from day one, and that was but yeah, they took him out. So he's the political hitman, and then and look how good Zahi is. I mean, he got an African American woman to go against the grain. Tasha Diaz commented in support of the mayor, and again, I'm not saying that I agree that it was right, because I'm be honest, I say what I say, even if it's not a popular opinion. But what I do know is that the African American community wasn't very happy about it. But Tasha Diaz, an African American woman, and the only council member to speak on it, showed her support. And it's funny, she reached out to CBS. Why CBS, and why not like the Yonkers Voice or something like that, or New York or Yonkers Times? Why did she send her comments to CBS? Interesting. The mayor's wife works at CBS, Mary Calvi. So with the Calvis, how they doing? How you Calvis doing? Everything going good? Yeah. So why did she do that? And why is no one saying anything to her about it? I don't know. But from what I hear from others, they spoke in private to the mayor. They said their piece. That's all they need to say. Everybody feels like nothing public needs to be said. So that's what it is. So yeah, folks, I want to keep it short and sweet. And that's how I'm gonna keep it. Westchester DA's office, Public Integrity Unit. Well, who runs the Westchester DA's office? Who runs the Westchester DA's office? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Company. If a developer looks out for you, I'm just generally speaking. No one in particular, just in general. If a developer does something for you, right, helps you out, and you're running for office, and then you win, and some other people within that circle helped you out, and you won, and now you're in there, and you're laying low because you're smart. You're not stupid. You're laying low. You ain't coming around no more. You got what you wanted. You won. So you ain't been around. You ain't messing. You ain't coming to no parties with these people. You're not trying to step on ish. So, but then this comes across your table. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Read between the lines. Read between the lines. Because I'm Freddie Vasquez, and this is Basement Politics, Unfiltered. And I'll be back more with this. Honestly, listen. I'm not giving up. I'm not at it because I'm not a little bit. Today doesn't mean I'm very tired, man. Do a lot of stuff. I do a lot, but I'm actually going to be working more on this story here, I should say, and I'm going to be following up. I am. There's some stuff here. And I'm going to get more details. But I appreciate those who have come forward to assist and help, and I again, please continue to do that. But I'm definitely going to be working with certain individuals now to really, they got some stuff, man, and I'm going to be putting together a nice, hopefully I get some, some real insightful stuff, and I can really bring more clarity and more transparency to it, So I look forward to that. But yeah, I just wanted to come on because I got some of this information. I just want to touch on the phone call from yesterday. Then nothing's gonna happen. They're protecting. Like I said, they call it a good old boys club, and that's really what it is. And you could, if go listen to the phone call, you could hear by the attitude, tone, his voice. He's not gonna do nothing. They're protected. And at the end of the day, like I said, the reason why I touch on all these different individuals is because they're connected. So if like one goes, they all kind of gonna start to go because they all connect in a certain way. So they have to protect each other. They're like holding each other up now. You know what I'm saying? So it's a must that they look out for each other, especially some of certain individuals that get themselves deeper. They have to. It's a must. It's a must. So anyway, thank you for joining me tonight. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I will see you maybe tomorrow. I don't know, maybe. By the way, I tried to reach out to the individual I called earlier. I'm sorry I missed your call. Please give me a call back. I'm interested to see what you have to say. Anyway, thank you, folks. Have a good night. Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Mr. Breen, what was your interest in that letter being written? Allegedly, you were the one that wanted it to be written. You destroyed a man's career. You know what his family went through, Mr. Mike Breen? How would you like it if your family went through that? It's messed up.
Freddie wins. Freddie wins. Fatality.
We're going to leave it where it is. Let's vote on this. Let's get it popping.
Game over.
No!